What's up, everybody? Dan Tortora here with,
Isaac Alford
and it is Tortora.
and Alford.
And I did the intro differently today, which is...
Yes, you did. But it's all good. We roll with the punches.
Yeah, which is why Isaac looked at the screen and went,
I'll never forget you. I have to see
you know what you're supposed to say. So this is Wake Up Calls, Tortora and Alford, and we are here with you in what I like to call the bye-week blitz. As Syracuse is on their second bye week, they get to take another break. They took one early. They took one before Stanford. So they had a couple games, then a break. They had the Ohio game at home, Georgia Tech at home. Then they took a break. Stanford did too. Then they played on that Friday night. And then after they played Stanford, they played Holy Cross. And then they went to UNLV. And then they just went to NC State. Now they got another break. And they're at 5-1. So this break is literally at their midpoint. They played 6 games. They got 6 games to go. And they're going to play 6 straight after we get through this break that they're on. So they're 5-1. Syracuse is 1 game away from becoming bowl eligible. You know who is bowl eligible?
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that's bowl eligible. But who you got in your mind? Oh, yeah. Go Army beat Navy. Why you quiet? You know the motto.
I know there's I have family in both. I got family in both. I got family in both.
That's what we said.
That's what we're saying. Yeah. Coach Monken was just on the broadcast. Had a great time talking to Coach as always.
Yes. And
appreciate Coach Monken. Want to thank him for his time. I also want to thank Brian Newberry of Navy. Silence. So what do you think is more prevalent? People saying roll tide for Alabama, or go Army beat Navy, go Navy beat Army?
Go Army beat Navy, go Navy beat Army. That's like ingrained day one when they hit campus. They haven't even started a game. You know, that's just I think they tell them when you ride on campus. I think there's a sign that says that. You know. So I believe that's just that's what they all about. Even though we all just love brotherly love between the two, but that's just one of those things, you know.
Well, we can say something really cool, and I had mentioned this before this week, and that is my belief that Army and Navy should be ranked. And here in week 7 of college football, well, week 8 we're going into, coming off of week 7, Army and Navy are both ranked in the Associated Press poll, which is voted on by the media. So the media has Army at 23, 6-0, and Navy at 25, at 5-0, and sandwiched in between them is a team with 2 losses named Michigan. Must be nice. Yeah. And above them, Illinois has a loss. SMU has a loss. Missouri has a loss. Ole Miss, 2 losses. And, yeah, I think that's... And there's a bunch of other teams with losses. But inside of the top 25 in the AP, Texas, Oregon, Penn State, and keep in mind, Texas is in their first season in the SEC. Oregon's in their first season in the Big Ten. Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Miami, Iowa State, BYU, who's in their second season in the Big 12 after being independent in football, Indiana, Pittsburgh, and Army and Navy, all undefeated. On the other side, in the coaches poll, Army, it goes from 23 to 24. From the AP poll, they didn't drop anywhere. They weren't ranked before. Right. So in the AP, Army's 23. In the coaches poll, they're 24. In the AP, Navy's 25. In the coaches poll, Navy got the 3rd most votes, which outside of the top 25, which would make them 28.
Yes.
And Navy was also off this past week. I do want to make a note, too, that Boise State at 5-1 out of the Mountain West is 15th in the AP and 19th in the coaches poll. They went up 2 spots in the AP and they went up 3 spots in the coaches poll. So Boise State is there, Army and Navy, SMU, inside of the ACC now. Indiana, like I said, having a great season. Outside of that, it's the usual suspects. I don't think there's any team. Yeah, so there's nobody from the Sun Belt, nobody from Conference USA. And Army and Navy are both in the American, so the American has two.
Yeah.
And SMU in their first season in the ACC, who were an American team, 21 in the AP, 23 in the coaches poll. Any thoughts on, like, who's the most surprising undefeated team?
It's not surprising. I looked at this the other day, but I think they're going to have a good chance of making the playoffs because their schedule. Yeah. Iowa State. I was like,
yeah.
We talking about our schedule coming in as maybe potential being a quote-unquote soft schedule. Take a look at Iowa State's schedule. I was like, holy. I mean, I don't know. I guess, again, I think they was a highly ranked team. Not highly ranked, but coming into the season, maybe they was in the rankings, but they really haven't played anybody so far other than Iowa.
Yeah.
You know.
North Dakota, unranked.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, 21 at the time, beat them.
Yeah.
Arkansas State, unranked.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, unranked. Baylor, unranked.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia, unranked. They will now play at home. Unranked UCF, unranked Texas Tech, on the road at unranked Kansas, unranked home Cincinnati, at unranked Utah, and then ranked Kansas State. So Iowa State will not play a ranked team unless things change for the rest of the year, which means they've only played two ranked teams.
Yes, exactly.
The whole season.
Exactly. So, I mean, hey, they put them on the schedule. They made the schedule. You play who's on the schedule. I'm not faulting them for that, but I was just taking a look at that the other day and then looking at some of the quote-unquote one-loss SEC teams. Is just what made me look at it was I think it was week 4 or something like that, or not week 4, but that might have been Alabama lost their first game, but they lost to an unranked Vanderbilt and they didn't fall double digits. Tennessee lost to an unranked Arkansas. They didn't fall double digits, but Clemson loses to the top number 1 team at the time in week 0, and they fall double-digit points.
They fell.
You know what I'm saying?
They fell.
I think 14 points.
I think it was. Let me think. Where were they?
I think it was.
Yeah, because they were at 10.
No.
They think they were 10.
11. They fell. Was it 10? Were they 10 coming in? They went to 24. I know that. It was almost out of the top.
They went from 10 to 24.
Gotcha. So,
and Michigan's lost 2 games.
Right. Now, I will say 24. When Michigan lost to, I forgot who that was. It was unranked. Maybe Washington. They dropped 11 points.
And keep in mind that Alabama, after losing to Vanderbilt, only beat unranked South Carolina at home in Tuscaloosa by 2.
Right. Oh, yeah. That was a close game. I mean,
and yet Alabama didn't move in the rankings. After that, they stayed at 7 in both.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I was kind of looking at that, just seeing how far people fell when they lost against somebody that was unranked, and then just noticing certain teams just only fell a couple, but some people got penalized for playing some of the top teams in the year. I don't know. And then Clemson, like you told me, hadn't lost a game since and been beating people by double digits.
And then Oregon Oregon beat Ohio State.
You're right.
32-31. And Ohio State fell from 2 to 4 in the AP and from 2 to 5 in the coaches poll.
Right.
So they're still a top 5 team despite their loss. Oregon's now second. Texas and Oregon are 1 and 2 in both.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State is ranked 3rd in both polls. Penn State, this is their schedule.
Well, they survived a scary one in overtime with USC last week.
Here's their schedule, though. At number 3 in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
At unranked West Virginia, win. Bowling Green, home, unranked, win. Kent State at home, unranked, win. Illinois at home, ranked 19th in the country, win. UCLA, unranked, home, win. They played 4 games at home. Big Ten. And at USC, won by 3 on the road against an unranked team. They will play at Wisconsin, unranked. Ohio State, who's ranked in the top 5 at home. Washington at home, unranked. At Purdue, unranked. At Minnesota, unranked. And Maryland at home, unranked. So if they can get by Ohio State, they're playing unranked, and they could find themselves in the college football playoff.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they got a definitely a good chance to get in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, Penn State absolutely does.
Yeah.
And then Syracuse. Okay, here's the question: Syracuse at 5-1
Mm-hmm.
should be ranked or no?
They're getting close, but to be honest with you, we've beat 2 ranked teams so far on our schedule. So
beat Georgia Tech,
mm-hmm.
who was 23,
mm-hmm.
and beat UNLV, who was 25. Gave UNLV their first loss of the season.
Right.
And keep in mind, Syracuse, they were closer, but this week they only received 13 votes in both polls.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not even near. So in the AP, they would be 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 30. They would be 33 in the AP.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would be 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 in the coaches poll.
Yeah. So I think should be a little bit closer, but who's ahead? I give Navy that ahead of them. Vanderbilt, okay, yeah, you had to win against Alabama, but
Nebraska, Arizona State.
Yeah.
Oklahoma just got spanked by Texas.
Yeah, so they kind of went back.
Oklahoma got dropped from the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma loses to the number 1 team in the country, drops from 18 out in the AP, drops from 16 out in the coaches poll. Again, Michigan didn't fall that far.
Right.
Oklahoma got kicked out of the rankings after losing to the number 1 Texas team.
Mm-hmm. And what, Michigan lost to a Washington team that lost to Rutgers the week prior.
Yeah.
So, but I think they still fell double digits after that Washington loss. But it was somebody else they lost to.
They lost to Texas and they lost to Washington.
Okay, yeah.
They got blown out by Texas in Michigan.
I mean, and if you got blown out like that, that should have been a bigger drop, you know.
Yeah.
But they still somehow, some way, found themselves in the top 25.
Yeah, and for some odd reason, Michigan's number 1 in the FCS coaches poll, and the Division II, Ohio State's number 1. I'm kidding. Just put them in every poll. Got to make sure they get in the playoff somewhere. So
there's going to be a playoff.
There's going to be a playoff somewhere. Texas A&M, though, with Mike Elko, who was Jimbo Fisher's D coordinator for a couple of years. He left, took the head coaching job at Duke, had 2 good years.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Jimbo parted ways with Texas A&M, Mike Elko becomes a head coach at Texas A&M. They're 5-1. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Lost to Notre Dame at home 23-13. Blew out McNeese. Beat Florida on the road by 13. Beat Bowling Green only by 6. Beat those are all unranked besides Notre Dame at the time, and then beat Arkansas, who was unranked barely by 4. And then here's the crazy thing: they barely get by Bowling Green, they barely get by Arkansas, and then they play number 9th ranked Missouri, and they blow them out 41-10 in Texas.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
That's probably what got them into the rankings. So yeah,
and it's probably, made Missouri look like pretenders.
How far did Missouri fall?
Missouri, well, let's see Missouri's road here. So Missouri's 5-1. So somehow they moved up 2 spots by beating arguably the worst team in the FBS, which is UMass. Like, that's who you schedule to beat.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No,
people schedule UConn and UMass to beat them, and UConn's gotten a little bit better. But so this is Missouri. This is top 10. This is a top 10 team the majority of the season so far. They played unranked Murray State at home 51-0. Unranked Buffalo 38-0 at home. Ranked 24th Boston College 27-21 at home. Unranked Vanderbilt at the time at home 30-27. At Texas A&M, lost by 31 points against a ranked Texas A&M 25 at the time, and then won at UMass 45-3. So, in what world does Missouri fall out of the top 10?
What, 5 spots?
So they were like 9. Then they go go down 10 spots, but then they go up 2 for beating UMass.
Yeah.
They went up 2 in both polls.
Maybe did they go ahead of Ole Miss? No.
No.
Oh, okay, so they're still behind Ole Miss.
And then looking at Pitt beat unranked Kent State at home, beat unranked Cincinnati on the road, beat unranked West Virginia at home, beat unranked Youngstown State at home, beat North Carolina unranked on the road, and beat unranked California 17-15. So Pitt doesn't have a ranked win. They're 6-0. Syracuse is 5-1 with 2 top 25 wins. Tell me how Syracuse doesn't get in over Pittsburgh.
No, that's good. Yeah, that is a good example of that.
It makes no sense. So Syracuse in the bye week. I want to get to a couple things here.
Mm-hmm.
I told Dino to run the ball, and he finally did it at the end. I was like, run the ball, please. And then Fran, I asked him, are we going to run? And he said it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't run, and he said, we got some stuff. Like things are coming. LaQuint Allen, I'm just gonna tell you like this. LaQuint Allen has scored in 4 of the team's 6 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
They are 5-1. In the 4 games that he scored in, they're 4-0. The first game of the season, he had a receiving touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And in the loss to Stanford, he had only 8 carries. It's the only game where he had less than 10 carries, and they lost. And since they lost to Stanford 26-24 at home, he was given the ball 16 times, 19 times, and 21 times, scoring 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks on the ground, and they have won every single one of those games. So is it fair to say that my emphasis on please give the ball to your 1,000-yard back has been proven by his numbers?
Most definitely, but you got to keep it balanced. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's got to be, but it was imbalanced.
Yeah. I mean, I know they have a lot of trust in Kyle, and Kyle can do good things with his arm, but in a way, you still got to keep the defense honest.
Yeah.
And then LaQuint is as they used to say, hard nosed as they come. You know, he's a fighter. He's the heartbeat of the team. So I mean, you got to find ways to definitely keep him involved in the run game, you know. I would like to see maybe a little more outside run. I mean, I know they try to get him running up the middle, but I think, as I told you, with teams with Kyle not being really a threat with running, sometimes that backside lineman, if they go in the opposite direction, he kind of cheats. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better word, If they're going to the right, that guy on the outside is just coming down the line, crashing down. And if LaQuint doesn't hit the hard and get a decent hold, they just grabbing him by his ankle. So that's why I was saying,
Yeah, they just come around and grab him from the back sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they do. So, I would like to see them kind of get him more to the outside more. But you definitely can't get away from the run, But and then when we score in bunches, we kind of dictate, like you were saying early in the season where we was kind of putting up some points, we was able to kind of dictate to the teams, I can't remember the Stanford game, we was a little bit behind early and the offense was really sputtering in the first half, So in some weird way, we kind of put it on Kyle's arm to try to, which he did get us back in the game at the end, so but yeah, no, I agree with you though. You definitely you can't forget the run though, whether it's LaQuint or whoever's in the backfield,
And I just want to make a note of the fact that now that they've implemented more rushes for LaQuint, they've gone 3-0.
Yeah.
And he also had 2 receiving touchdowns against UNLV. So LaQuint Allen this season has 7 touchdowns in 6 games. He has 3 receiving and 4 rushing. Kyle McCord in the passing game, no Syracuse player in the history of Syracuse football has ever gone 4 straight games with at least 300 passing yards. No player in Syracuse history has ever had 4 straight 300-yard passing games in their first 4 games in Orange. Kyle McCord not only had 4 straight in any iteration, he did it in his first 4 games, and he's now extended the streak. So Kyle McCord is the only Syracuse quarterback in the history of the university to have 6 straight games, 6 of 6, with at least 300 passing yards. 354, 381, 339, 385, 355, and 346. And those are against Ohio, Georgia Tech ranked, Stanford, Holy Cross, UNLV ranked, and NC State respectively. He has 19 touchdowns passing in 6 games to 6 interceptions. He has gone 2 out of 6 games with no interceptions against ranked Georgia Tech and on the road against NC State. The stat I don't like is that he's sacked an average of 2 times a game, getting sacked 11 times in 6 games. Mm-hmm. That I don't like.
Yeah, well, looking at the number of attempts, it might not be as bad, but yeah, I mean, but the more they drop them back, there's chances for that happening, on plays. But overall, I think the offensive line still done a great job of protecting him, 'cause I think there was one game he was almost like 60-something.
He was 73% this last game.
Yeah, and it was like 63 attempts and 0 sacks in the UNLV game. So
yeah, 63 attempts and not sacked in the UNLV.
So I mean, that was real good. I mean, and like you were saying with the consecutive games with 300, NC State until the last game hadn't gave up a 300-yard passer until then. So that was another thing that the short passing game is done real well for Syracuse. I mean, I think they put teams kind of like you were saying, watching the game, the coach for NC State, Doran, said that he kind of realized what they were doing. They was going to make some adjustments. But early on, it was kind of like the short passing game. If they gave them a zone, the receivers do really well getting to the zone spots. And Cal, with enough strength on his arm, he can find those spots. Just kind of like that 4th down, late touchdown to Jackson Meeks in the end zone, That was kind of find the spot. He looked one left, looked back right, put it in the right spot for the touchdown. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's been tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
And the offensive line, as much as I don't like seeing, the average of 2 sacks almost a game, we have seen they only gave up 1 against Ohio, 1 against Georgia Tech, none, as you mentioned, against UNLV, 2 against NC State. The tough ones were 3 against Holy Cross and 4 against Stanford. Mm-hmm. That was the issue there.
Yeah, what's weird, that speaking of Holy Cross, not Holy Cross, but Stanford, you mentioned earlier that we came off a bye and Stanford was coming off the bye. Well, guess who's coming off a bye too this week along with us? Pittsburgh. So it's kind of weird that our schedule this year, the opponent that we face, I think both teams coming off a bye. It's not like normally you have the team that has the bye have a chance to rest while the other team has to play that week.
Yes, Commissioner. Can we switch one of those games with Pittsburgh and play this week? So, I mean, I feel like Fran's going, so next season, I want bye weeks when they don't have no bye weeks.
Exactly.
I want a bye week when they're coming back from Dublin.
Exactly. Let them have a long flight or something.
Yeah.
But it's just weird that both our byes are synced up with the opposite team that we're playing next on the schedule. So in theory, it's almost, I call it like the bowl season, like where teams get 15 practice in between their next game. And so these teams get to kind of either rest up their bodies, watch extra film on each other now.
Yeah.
And so either team can come out, kind of like Stanford caught them off guard. I would say they said that, coming into that Stanford game, they kind of did some things that they wasn't really expecting because, again, they had an extra week to come up with a different plan and do something different. So who knows what Pittsburgh's going to have up their sleeve. We kind of did that to Pitt, I think, last year when I don't know if I might be mistaken, but I don't know if we was coming off a bye last year going into Yankee Stadium and Pitt had to play the week before, and then we came in with the Wildcat with Valari, and it was like Pitt was like, we wasn't expecting this. It's almost, so it's almost like it can cancel each other's strategy out when you have a bye week.
Yeah, and Eli Holstein has done a pretty good job at Pitt.
Yeah, he has.
And Eli, if memory serves me correctly, he was originally at Alabama.
Yeah, he's a transfer.
So, he transferred from Alabama where he did not play, but he was at Alabama. We're going to take a step aside here on Tortora and Alford. We're here with you on a Thursday morning inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We call them fast breaks. We'll be back in just a few. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There was a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. And in a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Here, bringing you a very special edition on your Thursday morning of Tortora
and Alford.
And on the break, we took a look.
Yeah.
Apparently, the officials needed us to take a look. I didn't know you could step out of bounds once, twice. I mean, he got a touchdown, but he's also three times a lady, right? Because it's once, twice. Exactly. I mean, I don't really understand. The Bellamy pushed him out. Bellamy is looking at the ball. Receiver comes by him on the sideline. Bellamy contacts him. Still looking forward. Mm-hmm. But when he contacts the guy stays in bounds.
Exactly.
So you can't say that he forced him out if when he contacted him after the contact, he's still in bounds. Then on his own, he goes down the field, goes out of bounds once, goes out of bounds twice, and you can't be the first to touch the ball if you go out of bounds.
Exactly. So it was weird. There was some weird officiating calls in that game.
Strange,
So it was very. And then they come back and said, it stands. So I don't know. It was like they almost was looking for an excuse for him going out of bounds. That's what it looked like to me.
But yeah, that seems a little confusing.
Very.
So what are your thoughts about the animation of Fran on the sideline?
You know what? It's funny because I watch chat rooms, as I say. As you say, I don't know why you do that to yourself. Why do you go in there? But it's very funny because in certain places, they was all upset about the stoic of Dino. Dino was too statuesque.
You go into places where they eat scorpions while they light their hair out.
Yeah.
I don't know why you do that.
But
this is him at the end of the Stanford game. He goes like this. He goes like this. Well, damn.
It's already started.
It was within 2 minutes.
But I mean, actually, I think it's. I don't mind. Personally, I don't mind it.
I don't mind the animated. I wouldn't want to. You don't
want to be on the wrong side of the animation.
I like that he's passionate.
Yeah,
but I wonder if he bought, those coaches a burger after.
Yeah, I think they know it's all love too. And,
but he was very. But I like his passion.
Yeah,
because he wants to win every game.
Yeah,
and you can see that he wants to win.
Yeah, he's into the game.
The interesting thing is look at him now, and then let's look at him 4 years from now. Is he the same on the sideline?
Yeah, I think he's even said in press conference he's kind of toned it down from game 1 to game 9. Now that's what he say. But when you look at it, it's a little different than what he says sometimes.
Fran, if you toned it down from game 1 to game 6, you were on 10.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you know what, Fran? I'm not going to tell you that I hate it because I love Kendrick Lamar's Are You on 10 Yet?
Yeah.
I love that. The Roman numeral X for the Black Panther soundtrack, the first movie. So.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, man. It's just a coach being in the game, He's trying to fight for his team. I
don't like seeing a family fight.
Yeah.
But Fran will tell you that real families argue.
Exactly. And it's nothing personal. It's like, hey, we got to get this right.
Yeah, I'm not saying go yell at somebody.
And what does he say after the
passion.
game? It's my fault. He don't say, that coach did this, that coach did that.
When the media did what I expected them to do, which was ask him about it, what'd he say?
Yeah. He's like, don't disrespect my guys. These guys got families too. We don't, like you said, we don't take it personal. Family may argue, and you might see us arguing, but that don't mean we don't like each other, whatever, any less. So,
Umari Hatcher's touchdown in this game against NC State. And by the way, folks, in my opinion, the most notable number after 44 at Syracuse is number 5.
Yeah,
and it's being used, and I love it. And so, Umari Hatcher, who I've talked to on the show. Appreciate him very much. Happy he stayed. When he catches that, it was planned because Kyle he fakes the handoff to LeQuint, but it's so quick. It's like boom, and then he turns around and just launches. And it was like Umari knew he was like. It was like he knew the timing, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, turn. And he turns and he catches this ball in single coverage, locks it in. He's absolutely down. You only need 1 foot in college. And he's absolutely down in the end zone. And then he flips over, and the guy's trying to rip it out, and they're out of bounds.
Right, yeah, plays over.
So, and then on the 4th down touchdown, where he found Jackson Meeks on 4, and I love that Fran goes for it on 4th downs. But on 4th down, he takes it, and like you were talking about, he looks to the left side of the field, and then he looks back quick, and when he looks back, he throws this ball in. Now consider this, folks. When you're in the red zone and you're close, it is really hard to make a pass because ball's getting tipped, ball's getting tipped and intercepted, ball's getting just outright intercepted. Yeah. It's a very, very difficult place to make a pass. And I said to you before that Kyle, I don't know on some of his passes if he wants to just prove to himself that he can do it or what it is, but he will thread a needle. And on that 4th down play, he looks, he comes back right, and he throws. and they're like within a few yards.
Yeah.
And he throws it to Jackson Meeks, and there's multiple guys converging on Jackson, and the ball somehow gets underneath and into Jackson's arms. Kyle McCord, one season at Syracuse, he might go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in Syracuse history.
No doubt about it, man.
So.
Everything, give him all the health and everything for the remainder of the 6 games. Hey, he's on track to do it, man. I mean, and like you said, he has a not decent arm. He has an excellent arm.
Yeah.
And he's throwing in guys open across the middle in the tight windows. I like I said, the years I've been watching, I haven't seen a quarterback, and I've seen some quarterback anticipate routes. Don't get me wrong. Garrett Schrader, that touchdown winning pass to Damian against Virginia Tech when he was getting crushed by that blitzing linebacker, that was one of his best passes I've seen him do. But Kyle is just consistently, if his back shoulder throws or whatever it may be, or Trevor is classic. Him and Trevor has this little timing where as soon as Trevor cleared a linebacker level, he knows to look for the ball, and the ball's right there in that next window.
Well, he trusts him because he knows that Trevor's going to make a move and he's going to get open.
Right.
So he's sending the ball and go get it because he knows that Trevor's got quick feet. So.
Right. And there's sometimes he even ain't made the break, but the ball's on its way, and then as soon as like you say, Trevor makes that break, he's looking and the ball's landing in his hands. So that's just the anticipation he has. So I mean, you really don't get that out of a college quarterback until they got enough games under their belt where they can do things like that. It's kind of remind me of my selfless plug, Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. There's some things that he did with LSU that when I went back and watched the tape, it was he made those reads and he put the balls in tight windows and spaces. Kyle's doing the same thing on this level right now.
Yeah, so I mean, there's passion there with Fran. The team is 5-1. They're at their midway point. They got 6 games to go. They only have to win 1 to get bowl eligible. But I know that's not
Don't
what
say
Fran
that
is.
Easy. We'd have been in this place.
When I said it, my head went, and you know how hard that is.
Exactly.
You know how hard that is. I remember when they beat Clemson, the person that I was dating at the time, she said to me, she goes, "How many games we got left?" And I was like, "We got 5 games left." She's like, "Oh," and she's like, "Easy, we'll be bowl eligible." And I said, "Hey,
slow down."
I was like, I know my team. I know know how my hometown, how it's been over the years, and people know I'm impartial. Sometimes I pick Syracuse. I pick them to win when I think they can win. I pick them to lose when I think that they're in a situation where it could happen.
Yeah.
So, but I like Fran's passion. I like what he's doing. You can't refute 5-1, and the loss was to 2 points against Stanford.
Yeah.
And Ashton Daniels and the team is better than they get credit for. And then, we look at what's to come. Their game out of the bye week is Thursday night. And it's for Pitt on a short, they're going to, obviously it's not a short week because it's bye week.
Right.
But Pitt and Syracuse are going to be playing in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium. And that is 3 days after my birthday on Thursday, October 24th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If Syracuse defeats Pitt on the road, Pitt will have their first loss of the season. Syracuse and Pitt will have the same record at 6-1, and they will both be in a position where they're bowl eligible. Pitt already is. Syracuse will become bowl eligible, and due to the head-to-head, Syracuse will leapfrog Pittsburgh. So let's just say in a scenario for Syracuse that they win, and we look at the standings inside of the ACC, Syracuse of 17 ACC schools now, 17 with SMU, Stanford, and Cal, because Notre Dame's not in the ACC. Syracuse is currently 6th. If Syracuse goes to 3-1 and Pittsburgh goes to 2-1 in the conference with a loss, then overall Syracuse would have the same record, 6-1. But if Syracuse gets to 3-1 and Pitt goes to 2-1, Syracuse will jump Pitt. Pitt will fall down, which means if Clemson wins and Miami wins and SMU wins, then Syracuse has a shot of being in the top 5 of the conference. If anything happens, so Clemson, so that's 1, 2, 3. So Syracuse has a shot with a win over Pittsburgh, depending on what Louisville does, to be in the top 4 of 17 ACC schools. 7 games into the season.
Mm-hmm. And that'll be their 3rd ranked win, too, if they can get that. Let me ask you, I'm glad you pulled this up, because I pulled this up the other day, and it irked me. Why is Louisville ahead of Syracuse on this standings? Tell me what's different in their records.
Well, they
both 2-1 in the conference, but look at overall.
Yeah.
Why is overall don't take precedence over when you got
I guess they're
tie?
counting points for. They have 3 more than Syracuse.
Is that what it is? Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, 5-1 is better than 4-2, and we both got the same conference record.
Look at it like this: Louisville is above Syracuse here in this, and they're both 2-1 in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse is 5-1 overall. Louisville's 4-2 to your point.
Mm-hmm.
They're both 3-1 at home. Syracuse is 2-0 on the road. Louisville's 1-1. So Syracuse should be 5th.
Right.
So if we're looking at that, then if Syracuse wins again, Syracuse is going to outseat Pitt. So bare minimum, Syracuse, with a win over Pittsburgh, Syracuse will be in the top 4 of 17 schools. And if anybody else loses, they could be even higher.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because they have the same record overall as SMU at 5-1. They have the same overall record as Clemson of 5-1, but Clemson is undefeated in the conference.
And SMU is undefeated in the conference.
And SMU has only played 2 games in the conference. Miami's only played 2.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh's only played 2. Syracuse has played 3 games in the conference so far.
Exactly.
And this will be their 4th.
So, yeah, I was just looking at that the other day, too. I'm like, why are we behind?
Let me see what the ACC has. Let me go to the ACC because sometimes the standings...
Yeah, I was going to do that. I didn't do that the other day when I went to look.
Sometimes the standings are wrong, like on one site.
Right, yeah.
And you'll look at it and you'll go, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're doing it because I intended to do this and I forgot.
So,
but when I went to that site, I was like, man, why is this?
Yeah, so Syracuse is above Louisville.
Right. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense on the other side.
And Virginia is above
Louisville. What's Virginia? Yeah, they both 4-2.
So Syracuse is 5th. If Syracuse wins and everything else stays the same, Pitt will drop and Syracuse will be in the top 4.
Exactly.
Because if Clemson... If they stay undefeated, Miami stays undefeated.
Somebody need to talk to the AD and tell them to get that other site straightened out,
Yeah. So Syracuse is in the top 5. Yeah. So Fran's got the team at 5-1. He's got the team in the top 5 of 17 schools in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jackson Meeks getting involved. You got Umari Hatcher. You got LaQuint Allen. You have Arande Gatz in the second. You have Trevor Pena. All getting involved in the offense in big ways.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kyle McCord setting a record on top of a record.
Yeah, and the team won a game on the road at NC State since 2013 when we wasn't an ACC member, I believe.
And NC State is a thorn in Syracuse's side.
Yeah, we've only beaten them twice before that at home. I think it was the 18 season, and I'm trying to think the other year we beat them at home. But
so Syracuse is 4-13 against NC State,
right?
All time. The last time that they beat them on the road
was 2013. I want to say.
What? Let's see here. 2013.
Yeah, and that's
Raleigh, North Carolina, Saturday, October 12th, 2013. They beat them 24-10.
And that's when we still was in the Big East, though.
Yeah, and ironically, they scored 24 when they beat them again in Raleigh, 24-17. Because they beat them, so they beat them back-to-back times, but Syracuse last year.
Okay,
Oh, and how about this? How about some history for you? The last time that they beat NC State on the road in Raleigh was on Saturday, October 12th. And 11 years later, they beat them on Saturday, October 12th. So hopefully that's that. Well, we'll see. We'll see, because I keep saying that Miami, Saturday, November 30th, exactly 22 years, but Miami won that game.
Yeah, but now there's another point just made with our upcoming. Somebody was saying we haven't won at Pitt in this stadium in a while or whatever. So I mean, you might want to pull that one up, opponent history with Pittsburgh. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, so if we look at...
I know we had the shootout with...
that 70-something
at Pitt, but we lost that one.
So Syracuse and Pitt all-time in football, 33 wins for Syracuse, 43 losses, 3 ties.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you could tie. So Syracuse last one in Pitt. Sweet mother. Oh my. They last beat Pitt on what is it with that weekend? Saturday, October 13th, 2001.
Right.
They won 42-10. So Syracuse has not beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh in 23 years.
Yeah.
Well, 22 years.
Yeah.
And we'll see what this year looks like.
It's time to reverse that. You know, Fran got his first ACC road victory. So, hey.
They only beat them 2 times since 2001 overall, and those were in Syracuse.
Right.
So Syracuse, since
Yankees.
Beating them on the road and at Yankees.
Yeah.
So since beating them in Pitt in 2001, they are, from 2002 on, that's 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, 1-7, 1-8, 1-9, 2-9,
Mm-hmm.
2-10, 11, 12, 13, 2-13. And 2-13 is my grandfather's number. So then you go 2-13, 3-13, 3-14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4-18. They're 4-18 in their last 22 games against Pitt.
Jesus.
Wow, that's not a rivalry.
Yeah, that's one-sided, you know.
4-18, and they, after beating them or before beating them in New York City, they lost 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other streak that I mentioned was 7 in a row that they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's time to break.
So they haven't beaten Pitt at Pitt since 2001.
Right.
Yikes. And look at the streak that they had before that 4-18.
Past colonial years.
They won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Syracuse was 11-0 against Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh and in Syracuse, they were 11-0 from 1991 to 2001, and then they went 4-18. So once again, you shouldn't have fired Paul Pascal. There's so many reasons why.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that.
Yeah, 11-0.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's time to reverse the curse.
So yeah, so this would be their first win in Pitt in over 2 decades, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some more stuff to talk about. We'll wrap up right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this special Tortora
and Alford
feature in the bye week, which I like to call the bye week Blitz.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop, open for you Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. You will find hockey, basketball, baseball, football, soccer, Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and more while supplies last. With singles, graded cards, packs, and boxes. So you can either go in there and see something that you want in the case and buy it, or you can get a pack or a box or a combination of those to see what you can get and try your luck with the packs and boxes that they have. You never know what you're going to find. One of ones have been pulled. I pulled a Downtown rookie, and those are case hits, and those happen on site at GG Cards and Breaks. You never know what's going to be there. They do a fantastic job of bringing in their product, and they're led by wonderful, wonderful people that care about this community and bring people together. And really, that's what it comes down to for me. Positivity, bringing people together, working hard, and being who you say you are. GG Cards and Breaks is my trading card shop of choice, my sports card shop of choice, because I get to be a big kid there. I feel respected. I feel appreciated. And they brought something to the community that I didn't know if I'd ever see again. So I'm grateful to Josh and Anthony and the entire team. On 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. And you'll see them there Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, final notes here as we
Excuse me.
Go through the first half of the season, a 5-1 record, the only loss by 2 points. What are your overall thoughts right now?
Overall, offensively, I think the team is a little better than we kind of expected coming in year. I mean, I know everybody hoped Kyle would be as nice as he performed. And then to your turn too, offensively running the ball, we would like to see him, a little bit more, with the running game and stuff. But 5-1 record, I mean, kind of where I expected us to be, I didn't have us losing the Cal game. I probably had us losing maybe that Georgia Tech game.
Yeah.
So I think we're right on pace where I think we're going to be at. These next 6 games, I believe there's some potential trip-ups, maybe, but you never know. I mean, hey, if
3 home, 3 road.
Yeah, but if the team can put it together and continue getting better and better each week, hey, like I tell you, I seen 10-2, but overall I thought 8-4. So
yeah,
there's still a possibility for that.
Yeah, 8-4 was my original thought.
Mm-hmm.
I argued that they could get to 10-2 when we talked about it on the show, and I thought 9-3 was a good, but at least 8-4. They are at Pitt. Tickets are as low as $11. Folks, the teams combined are 11-1. Go buy tickets. Virginia Tech's at home. It'll be Syracuse's first game at home since 1998. And 2 Octobers in a row, no home games.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which, it worked out, personally, as much as I miss seeing them at home, it worked out perfect for me.
Right, yeah, I got it.
With my schedule.
Yeah, true that.
So, hopefully, I mean, Fran and I will have to make the schedule moving forward together. But at Boston College, at Cal, they're West Coast. Then they're home against UConn for non-conference, which used to be a conference game, which used to be the Big East. Those games are only $10. And then Miami, who's currently undefeated. Miami's coming into town on the same day since the last time they came into town, which was Saturday, November 30th, 2002. 22 years ago to the day of the week and the day of the year. And the last time that Miami played Syracuse in the Dome, they were Big East opponents. Now, they're ACC opponents. Tell me how Syracuse has been in the ACC for over a decade and Miami's never come to town. But with the new schedule model, no divisions, you will play every team in the ACC the way that they had the schedule placed. And now with Cal and Stanford and SMU coming in, well, however that might adjust. But the way that it was you were going to play every single team twice within a 4-year period, home and home.
Right.
So if you stayed at a school for 4 years at least, you would play Pitt at home, Pitt on the road, Miami at home, Miami on the road, and within your 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't have these like, how are we in a conference with a team that we don't even play?
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense for like when you're recruiting is sometimes in the state of Florida, and you got some of these guys that probably never got an opportunity to play in front of their family members or whatever the case may be. So that kind of evens it out too for recruiting wise, and where we are at as it's part of a conference. You know, we get a chance to go all over the place and see everybody a couple of times.
But I got to raise this up because Fran, Isaac, and I got something for you. Isaac, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready with you.
So, you ready?
Just a little bit of. That's right.
There you go. To Fran and the guys, 5-1 on the season so far. And coming out of their break for their second half of the season, you will see Syracuse on the road for 3, at home for 3. And you know what? I'm feeling it, so I think we got to go one more time.
You got to get one more in there? You got to turn it a little bit.
So, wait, hold on. I'll turn. Wait,
no, you got to do that, right?
I'm good.
Yep.
So, we're going.
Down. There we go.
There we go. We'll talk with you all soon. This is Tortora.
And Alford.
On Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Take care. God bless. No stress. Do your best.